Rise and shine, it's a brand new day. Ken can take the stage, ready to play. Weekdays at 10, the cars and the scene. Coffee in hand, they're living the dream. Aggression in their voice, got the whole town awake. Bringing fire to the mic, make no mistake. Shows in the corner, spitting out facts. Dropping truth bombs, ain't holding back. Ken in the morning, feel the heat. From 10 a.m. CST, can take a seat. Live and loud, that break in the mind. Light up your speakers, crank up the sound. They're talking about life upside down. Opinions exploding like a sonic blast. In the studio, they're built to last. With passion and grit, they engage and ignite. Every single week, they're a force can't fight. From sports to politics.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
Good morning. Welcome to the very last episode of Ken and Ken in the Morning for this year, 2025. Man, did this year go quick. Yeah, I can't believe it's already New Year's Eve. Morning, Fred. Good to see you in here early as usual. We start seeing some other folks trickle in. Yeah, so it's New Year's and the Bears are kings of the North. Who would have ever have guessed that? Let me fix myself here for the other view. There we go. Yeah, because you're seeing a half. I swear these new camera views. There we go. So we're at the last piece of the year. Of course, one thing we haven't talked about yet is the Hall of Fame class upcoming. Should be interesting with the names that were just released. We didn't get the chance to talk about it yesterday. The finalists for the Hall of Fame. So hopefully we'll get Broski or someone on here. We'll have a nice little discussion about it here in a minute. Happy New Year, Donkey Kong. Yep, they suck in first place. I know it's a terrible place to be. I know not many teams want to be there. Exactly. So yeah, we got what a year. I mean, at the beginning of the year, if you'd have told us that the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings would all be one and done in the playoffs last season, last January, we all would have laughed. And then coming into this year, if it was coming to the end of this current season, the Bears would be in first. The Packers would be in second. Probably most people would go, oh, yeah. And that the Lions and the Vikings would both be out of the playoffs or miss the playoffs altogether. Once again, people did say I was crazy when I said the Bears could even make the playoffs. So imagine what they'd be saying if you told them that the Bears won the division with Ben Johnson as the new head coach. So it's been a crazy year. Been a crazy year here on the show. It's a crazy year for end of year for Ken, obviously, because we haven't seen him all week. So hope everything is okay there. Haven't heard from him in a couple days, which is unlike him. But yeah, crazy year. We've got the 2025 the list of Hall of Fame inductees or finalists, if you will. So we can start with the easy ones. We'll go with some of the hard ones. Willie Anderson, tackle from the Cincinnati Bengals, on the list. I'll just go through the list. Drew Brees, Jahari Evans, guard from the Saints as well, and from the Packers for 1 year. Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore, Torrey Holt, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Adam Vinatieri, Reggie Wayne, Kevin Williams, Jason Witten, Darren Woodson, and Marshall Yanda. Those are all the guys who are on the list for this year's Hall of Fame. Should be interesting list. Yeah, it's 2018 was the last time we won the division. Yeah, I too have left Illinois. A lot of people have left Illinois. We're playing with house money, Don Kong. I mean, look, last year we were what, 5-12. We can finish this year 12-5. Completely invert the record. We're playing with house money, man. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I would say Breeze and Fitz are 2 locks. What do you guys think about Jason Witten? I think Witten should be a lock as well. I think Witten is a first ballot guy. Interesting that for eligibility guys, so guys who retired after 2020 season, Drew Brees, Fitz, Frank Gore, and Witten are the only ones that made the list. Let me see. And then you've got from the senior category, you got finalist are Kenny Anderson, Roger Craig, L.C. Greenwood, along with coach finalist Bill Belichick, and contributor finalist Robert Kraft. So that could be interesting as well. So we're into that season as well. So let me know what you guys think about some of the nominees there. I think Witten's interesting. I think he's the first ballot. No Super Bowls for Witten, but I think he's the first ballot. Fred says Witten too. Vinny, you know what? Fred, I agree. The problem is this. Vinatieri as a kicker, probably the best kicker all time. Devin Hester, best punt return kick returner of all time. Wasn't a first ballot because he was seen as a special teams player. So does Vinatieri get in, or does he have to wait a year because special teams players don't get in on the first try? That's my only question with Vinatieri. I think he should be a first ballot. I think Witten should be a first ballot, which then leaves you to one more because they automatically will put 5 in, not 4, not 3, 5. So then you got Willie Anderson, Frank Gore, Jahari Evans, Torrey Holt, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Reggie Wayne, Kevin Williams, Darren Woodson, and Marshall Yanda, all really good players. The question is who gets that last seat if Vinatieri and Witten go with Fitz and Breeze as first time eligible guys who just go in first ballot. Who's that other guy? Oh, and here comes Broski. Maybe he'll have an idea. Hey Broski, good morning.
Good morning, Ken. How you doing?
Good. Talking about the Hall of Fame induction list.
Yeah, man. I actually took a look at the list. And yeah, I kind of agree with the overall consensus. Like Breeze and Fitzgerald are really the only 2 locks. I really, you can obviously make a good case for all the other guys on the list. I don't really feel too strongly, about like, hey, this guy has to get in right now. What I will say, Reggie Wayne and Torrey Holt were freaking incredible receivers for a long time. And surprisingly, like those 2 guards on the list, Evans and Yanda, I mean, seriously, incredible guards, like incredible players. But how often, how many guards make the Hall of Fame? So it's one of those things. But I mean, every player on the list, it's actually a pretty quality list, top to bottom. Then you have Eli. I mean, he won 2 Super Bowls, so you got good arguments for everyone. I feel.
I think Witten is a first ballot. He's a top 5 all-time tight end. Vinatieri is the top kicker all time. I think those guys also get a first ballot, which leaves that 5th spot because they only do 5. And the thing I hate about the NFL Hall of Fame is unlike baseball, which can do 0 or it can do 10, they automatically do 5. And we saw baseball a couple years ago do a 0. It's like
Okay, so the Hall of Fame will automatically do like 5. That's kind of like a rule, I guess.
mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So if
the
it's
fifth,
the
for me, it's hard because like the guards. I agree. I agree with what you said, and the problem is with guards, it's so hard because most fans,
yeah.
look, it's just like in the game now, fans don't sit there and go, "Oh my god, the right tackle! Oh, what a play he made." No,
Yep.
it's the quarterback, the running back, the defensive end, the safety with the interception. The defensive tackles get it, but the most unloved position in football is offensive line in general as a group, guards, tackles, and centers. And when they get in, like look at what happened. Good morning, Joseph. Um, when Jumbo Covert got in, it was like with little to no fanfare. Like when these guys get in the Hall of Fame, their auto on their helmet goes up in price. Not Jimbo Covert. He gave that inscription away for free, right? He was just happy people wanted a signature final. That's the life of an offensive lineman in sportsman world, right? So, but then it translates into like this here because you look at those tackles and like, yeah, like they're both the guard. Like Willie Anderson, great career for the Bengals and the Ravens, right? And, and Yanda, like, how many times did you hear Yanda? You used to hear his name quite a bit in games. I think it's
Yeah.
tough for them to get in, especially got like, Frank Gore. He's interesting. Gore, what, 15 years in the league?
Yeah,
Right?
like at least, right? Like, yeah, I mean, if man, he played such a long time.
2005 to
Yeah.
2020. I mean,
Yeah. How do you reward longevity, without ever being like considered like a top tier running back? You know what I mean? At any given season. So
morning,
that's
Billy.
something you have to weigh.
Morning.
So yeah, I mean,
But
with
you know what?
the fifth spot, like, could it be one of the offensive linemen to get in, or do you like Frank Gore with 15 years of being a solid running back for 15 years, not necessarily the best in the league at any given point in time, but there were points in time, especially in San Francisco, he was a game wrecker, right? He'd
Yeah,
break
no, I
off
hear you,
some
man.
runs and change games, or do you go with Eli, who as a quarterback, his overall record was he was a 500 quarterback, but he won 2 rings.
Yeah. I mean, overall, top to bottom, this is a thorough list. Like, I do like this list this year. I think if we're picking 5, right, we pick 5.
Right.
Outside of, and I'm going Breeze and Fitzgerald. Then I'm going Reggie Wayne, Terrell Suggs, and Vinatieri. Those are probably my other ones from this list. That get in.
What do you got, Billy? Where are your 5 guys for the Hall of Fame this year from that list?
Who's all going?
All right, I'll give you the
Let's see the
list.
list.
Jahari Evans, Larry Fitzgerald, Frank Gore, Torrey Holt, Luke Kuechly, Eli Manning, Terrell Suggs, Adam Vinatieri, Reggie Wayne, Kevin Williams, Jason Witten, Darren Woodson, and Marshall Yanda.
Terrell Suggs. Yes. I'll go with Witten. I don't mind Witten getting in that one. I don't know about Fitzgerald. Eli Manning, of course. So that's 3. I can't remember the rest of the names.
Drew Brees and Fitz will probably be first time. They'll get in.
Drew Brees, yeah, if he's in there, yeah, definitely. He'll pop in.
My problem with Suggs is this. Suggs and Briggs. Same guy. They're both 1B to the 1A they played with, both guys who went in the Hall in 2018. Urlacher and Lewis. They're the Pippins to their Jordans. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you look at Lance Briggs, 7 straight Pro Bowls, whole career with the Bears, doesn't get in. this year didn't even make the list. I think him and Terrell Suggs are the same guy. Like, they both deserve to be in my opinion. I think they should be like the guys they played with going together. I mean, honestly, I think
Oh,
Suggs
definitely.
and Briggs are the same guy.
Suggs, didn't Suggs win a Super Bowl though?
Yes, but that was the same thing he had with Lewis and Urlacher. Well, Lewis has 2 Super Bowls. Urlacher doesn't have any. They both went in 2020 and 2018 together. I mean, the Super Bowl ring rule, I think, is mostly for quarterbacks, right? It's hard for you to say, well, a receiver didn't get a title. Well, Megatron played for the Lions. I mean, you know, if we did that, there would be no Lions or Vikings in the Hall of Fame. Sorry, guys. Not trying to rub that in this morning, but I mean, or if you look for, there's going to be almost a whole era of football where if you didn't play for Kansas City or New England, you can't get in the Hall of Fame. So, but I mean, no, I mean, Suggs for me, that's the hard part. To me, he's like Lance Briggs. He's very comparable to Briggs.
Yeah, I mean Suggs is 8th all time in sacks, so that's one thing. 139 career sacks. I mean that's a ton. Won a ring. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you said, it's a tough call. This is a good call though. Like this list is very good. Like there's a lot of worthy players. Like Witten to me is worthy. It's just like, maybe if they go 6, he'd be the 6 for me probably.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Witten top 5 all. Actually, Witten is on the list of all-time tight end. He's between 4 and 5.
Yeah. I'd be shocked if Witten didn't get in at some point.
Yeah, if not this year, then definitely next year. You would think. Torrey Holt, greatest show on turf. Isaac's already in. It would make sense. Same with Reggie Wayne. Makes sense. At some point. I don't know first ballot. Vinatieri, I don't. They don't like special teams guys. I mean, look at Devin Hester should have been a first ballot. Oh, but he's a special teams guy. Well, Vinatieri's a special teams guy. So does he get first ballot?
It's tough. We know it's tough for kickers as well. But I mean, this guy made so many big game clutch kicks in big games. Like, he's getting in at some point. I feel, if not right now.
I think he'd be like the 4th. I'm looking it up right now. Kickers in the NFL Hall of Fame, there aren't many. There's like 3 or 4. There are currently 2 pure place kickers in the Hall of Fame. Jan Stenrud in 91 was inducted, and Morton Anderson was inducted in 2017. So he would be the 3rd kicker. Also, you've got 1 punter in the Hall, Ray Guy, and 1 return specialist, Devin Hester. I mean, that position group as a group, special teams, so very underrepresented in the Hall of Fame. Because you got some other guys coming up too. Sebastian Janikowski's coming up. You can make a good case for Robbie Gould. First time in Chicago and San Francisco.
Yeah, I hear you, man.
No, what do you think? What do you guys think about Vinatieri getting in? What do you think, Joseph?
I don't have a problem with Vinatieri getting in. He's got a few rings. And for a kicker, it's like that's the thing that puts him over the top. It's like he's made some clutch kicks in some Super Bowls and in some very bad weather games, like the snow job against the Raiders. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with him getting in.
Billy, what do you think?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I say, but it's like you say, it's special teams. I can't see them letting them getting in now, but definitely.
Yeah, but I'm not bumping him over Fitzgerald or, I don't know. Eli Manning is an interesting case. Like, I'm almost certain he's going to get in first ballot because his last name is Manning.
This is second ballot. He
Oh,
didn't get in
second
last year.
ballot. Well, then I'm even more certain that he's probably going to get in this time. But
Eli's tough, man, because like for quarterbacks, the ring is the over the top piece. Like Phillip Rivers. If we want to talk about Phillip Rivers before he came out of retirement, because now he, reset his eligibility clock. The argument on him was going to be, well, really, really, really good quarterback, right? But no ring. Eli, and so for or like Breeze, you would gone like, well, Breeze has all these accolades as a passer, but yeah, he got a Super Bowl. And that puts him over the top. That makes him a first ballot guy because not only does he have the accolades, he's got the ring. Aaron Rodgers will be the same thing. He'll get in because he has, the accolades and the ring. Big Ben, same thing, accolades and rings. Eli, very pedestrian, 500 career, 149 and 149 as a starter. Never led the league in anything good. Nope. I think he had maybe one Pro Bowl, no first team nods, none of that. But he's got 2 rings. No MVP. He was never a regular season MVP. So for him, I think like the rings are what got him into the conversation, not put him over the top.
he was a Super Bowl MVP though, I think.
So he had a good game.
But the most important game, like
but
that
the
does matter.
thing about that is like even the 2 Super Bowls, and I'm like the thing with Eli for me is tough because like and Billy's just laughing. You're like, man, I wish we had these problems in Chicago. But like with Eli, like you look at the 2 Super Bowls, in both cases that he won, they won on miracle plays with amazing where the receiver had to make an amazing catch to even give him a chance. So okay, Manning put the ball in a general vicinity, and the wide receiver made a phenomenal play for them to get the W. So, and Eli gets the MVP for making the throw for the phenomenal catch that the receiver made. He's very controversial, man. I mean, I think he gets in because he's a Manning, right?
Yep.
But he's gonna be one we're gonna debate for a couple weeks going into this.
I do believe that if Eli Manning gets in, there's absolutely no reason that Jim Plunkett shouldn't get in too.
No, I agree.
Plunkett has 2 Super Bowls. Kind of this, he's kind of the Eli Manning of the '80s, right? Like maybe a little bit different. I mean, he was a complete bust, and then went to the Raiders and had 2 magic seasons where he won the Super Bowl, like with a surrounded by talent, like. But he's got 2 rings. He's the only. In fact, he's the only quarterback that has 2 rings that's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Like, see, even Jeremy agrees. Plunkett should have been in years ago.
And, he's not. And the funny thing is, for the non-modern era players, you've got for the senior category finalists, you got Kenny Anderson, Roger Craig, L.C. Greenwood, along with Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. So a minimum of 1 and a max of 3 from those 5 get in. And that's an interesting list. I mean, look at Kraft gets in. Belichick has got 6 rings. He probably gets in.
Yeah. And Roger Craig, dude. Roger Craig absolutely deserves to be in.
Yeah, but so does Kenny Anderson. And I don't know as much about L.C. Greenwood, to be honest with you right now. But that's an interesting list. So, look, we got some other NFL news. I don't want to run out of time for our last show of the year here. Trayvon Diggs waived by the Cowboys. Not a good day to be a Diggs yesterday. He's 2 years, he's in year 2 of a 5-year, $97 million extension. So basically, whoever signs him is going to get him very cheap. He had some injury issues, right? Interesting story out of Chicago with this yesterday. Pete Roach too. Different Hall of Fame, Woody. Gardner Johnson has already reached out to Diggs, said, "Hey, come on over to Chicago when you clear waivers." What do you think? And we'll go to Billy first.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, like I say, we are going to use help on the on the defense. So another body, you might as well. We getting them cheap? Why not?
Oh yeah, you figure vet minimum for this year. I mean, because he's getting paid by Dallas.
Yep, he's cheap. Grab him, put him on the roster just in case. You never know, especially
Yeah,
if we go deep into the playoffs.
Woody's like, no, he's washed, he's done. I don't know. What do you think, Joseph? Is it worth taking a chance on him as a flyer coming into the playoffs?
I mean, he's feast or famine, dude. Like he's either going to get a pick or he's going to get torched for a touchdown. So, but that's how he's always been. Like to me, he's he's the ultimate feast or famine guy. I would only put him on a secondary, like on an outstanding secondary where we can afford for him to take those kind of risks.
Mm.
Yeah, it's weird because he's had some knee injuries, so maybe he has to pass a physical. Obviously, if anyone's going to sign him, he becomes a free agent as of today at 3 p.m. Eastern, so 2 Central. So we may find out today if anything happens. I guess Micah Parsons reached out too. Okay, geez, you yell, yeah, Mike. Look at Woody really doesn't want him in Chicago. He's all capping it. He's all capping it. Like, let him go to Gabe A. Trayvon Diggs, Eli Apple. Well, let me remind some you guys of some other things. More burnt toast than an interception. Wow. Trayvon Diggs' best season was with a certain coach who's in Chicago currently. So I think that's another piece of it. The cornerback coach in Chicago was his coach in Dallas when he had his big year. Look, if you got a roster spot, which every team does for this kind of thing, and he's cheap, he's not hurting your roster to pick him up. Why not take the flyer?
Yep,
Especially with injuries.
exactly.
Let him play against Detroit this weekend. Right? Don't risk hurting one of your starters. I don't know. I mean that's it is interesting though that he got released like he did. That the Cowboys and according to the reports is there was no argument with Jerry or any of that kind of stuff. They just released him as a post June 1st destination. So they're saving some cap money because they're already talking about re-signing Pickens and that Pickens, Jerry Jones expected to be Pickens and Jones sitting down without the agent to act. I guess Jerry didn't learn from Micah, so we're gonna get a Pickens. We're gonna have the Pickens debacle this summer. I guess I don't know. So very very interesting with Trayvon Diggs, man. I know Woody's really not liking it.
Woody will have his jersey.
Woody will run out and buy it tomorrow, won't he? All right. Well, hey, I mean, last show of the new year, so let's talk about a little bit about the year that was 2025. I mean, if you think about everything that this year encapsulated, if you'd have told us at this time last year that the Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings would all be one and done in the upcoming playoffs, we probably all would have looked at you a little funny, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, and or that the Lions wouldn't even make the playoffs this year after winning 15 games last year.
Well, then you fast
Although
forward and
I
go,
did call that. I did say that. Like I felt like the Lions had a decent chance to end up in the basement.
They're there.
well, that's the interesting part then, Joe, because then you go from a 15 and a 14 win team last year to both missing the playoffs this year. The one think of it, the two guys who in week 18 battled it out for the 1 seed didn't even make the playoffs this year. And then the Bears go from 5-12 to possibly 12-5 this year. And they are kings of the North. We've already clinched the division. who saw that in their bingo card at this time last year that this would happen? We got Ben Johnson this year. We got a whole new coaching staff. What about at this time last year? Broski and I were debating who we were going to take in the draft on the line in the first round. I mean, Bill,
Yeah,
you know
and like I said, they were going to go skilled position players with their first couple picks, and people thought I was smoking crack, and we both agreed that tight end actually did make sense for their first pick. And yeah, they took a tight end, and they took Bird with their you know what I mean, their second pick. So yeah,
Both
I
are
mean,
panning out.
I mean, one of my favorite things about this season, Joe, is watching these rookies contribute like right away. I mean, Loveland, you know what I mean, Bird and Monangai, and then Ozzie Trapillo at left tackle. Now it's like, wow, nice rookie class so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, look at last year. We were talking, man, we need to draft linemen. You know, there aren't that many guys in free agency, and there weren't. Right? There was one guy in free agency, and we got him, Drew Dahlman. But even some people were like, oh, I don't know if Atlanta's going to let Drew Dahlman go. Look at this new Bears offensive line that was done this year. I mean, you want to talk about different – the year flew by, number one. But then, like, we have – you know, we go out and make a trade for Jackson, a trade for Tooney. We signed Dahlman. Yeah, we have 3 left tackles now, you can argue. Even though one Broski really doesn't like, but he's still a decent player for the role he's in now. I think Broski might even agree with that. We went from left tackles an issue, or a somewhat of an issue. Like it was obviously, if you were looking at the offensive line last year, you know, left tackle was the 4th issue you would tackle, right? Now you've got where you had a guy last year that you had little to no faith in, who had some injury issues. Now you've got 3 guys who can play that position for the Bears adequately, to include the guy that you don't like so much. But if they had to come in for a spot for a game, we'd be like, okay, it's a game. There's depth on the offensive line, and I left tackle specifically. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, again, like you can keep go back to Braxton. I'm going to keep pushing back. I don't want him on the roster. I don't like weak, feeble linemen who get blown back, who are light in the ass.
I mean, look, I'm not.
You know what I mean? And he will not be on the team next year either. So to me, he's a non-factor. Like you know, he won't be back next year. So what? You know what I mean?
He won't be back next year. But I'm saying is like you had 3 guys this year at that position, because even for the couple games he played early, he was not great, but he was serviceable and was better when he left. I grant all that. But the fact that you have that much depth at left tackle is the point I'm getting at. Because Braxton Jones, for a couple teams, will still be a starter. You know, for the Bears last year, he was good enough to be a starter. For this new Bears this year, he's probably the 3rd string. That tells you a lot about the depth now at left tackle. That's more the point I'm getting at. Like, I agree, Braxton won't be here next year. There's no reason for him with Trapillo and our Canadian rock star sitting there. But the fact that we have that much depth on the line now is ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think a good point to mention is like they need to keep drafting depth. You know, let's take a page out of the Chiefs, Eagles, and even Packers. Like they draft O-line every year. So hey, let's, even if we're not drafting them, on day 1 or 2, let's draft a guy or 2 on day 3. And I think this year would love, and this is a very good center draft class. I would love to see like a day 3 center draft pick. You know what I mean? And maybe get another interior guy, because Jonah Jackson and Tooney aren't getting any younger. You know what I mean? Like that would be really great.
I don't know, Billy. What do you think?
My bad, dude. I'm at work. I was over there talking with some people. I didn't catch everything, but I'm gonna get out of here, bro. You guys have a good New Year's, bro, and go Bears, man.
Hey, you have a good New Year, Billy. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep.
You gotta love it when you can be at work. Oh, like Broski be at work and still have time to do stuff like that. I wish my job would have let me do that back in the day.
Well, yeah, Broski runs a lot of things. So literally, when I'm on the show, like I'm actually Dude, you'd be surprised how much I'm actually getting done, even though I'm talking. Like, yeah, it's kind of crazy what I do.
For me, I have DoD computers that probably would have blocked StreamYard. So yeah, not like the office had Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
And
that's a
then
little
poor
different.
Joe.
Yeah.
We go from the Bears, who are having this phenomenal 2025 with all the changes, and conversely, we go to poor Joe, who we knew last year. Okay, new coach is going to be coming in, and they're all excited with Pete Carroll, and okay, Gino's coming, and he was doing pretty good in Seattle previously, and there were high expectations, high hopes, and dude, you got the number one pick right now. I mean, you want to talk about the inverse of what you expected.
Yeah. I trace it all back to Pete changing up the offensive line. Like, we had an offensive line, rotation that, we had guys at certain positions that worked last year. That was more, I mean, it wasn't a great offensive line, but it was nowhere near the monstrosity that we see now. And Pete decided to tamper with that and move guys around, and it's just been a shit show. And also, Gino has just been absolute dog shit. Even when he has protection, Gino's still throwing picks. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'm actually happy that we have the first pick, because I really feel like it's time to take a swing on a quarterback, win or lose. Even if he turns out to be a bust, at least we took the shot. Because the Raiders haven't done that in 20 years. They've had that hot hand from the stove from Jamarcus Russell, and so they're like, we'll do anything but draft a first round quarterback. We'll go out and shop the bargain bin in the veteran pile, and I'm tired of doing that.
You guys are still dealing with the fallout of a certain head coach, who comes to teams and wrecks their organizations. Because Denver had the same problem when he left. They struggled for a couple coaches. They're just now coming out of it. They are just now coming out of it with Bo Nix and in the situation there. I mean, it took them a while. Raiders has taken them a while. It's going to take you guys a while too. I mean, because not only do you need a quarterback, you've got to. I'm not slamming the door on Genty yet. I'm a little more forgiving than maybe Broski is on Genty. I know I didn't want him in Chicago. I agreed with him. I don't completely agree on his future. I think, he's shown some ability this year. My question on him is going to be, is he going to be one of those running backs who, you're good for one or two great, phenomenal games. You're like, wow. And the rest of the season, you're like, do we have a running back on this roster? That's my question on Genty, But the problem that he's going to face these next couple years in Vegas, what's the O-line look like? Is he still going to be running behind an O-line that would make Wisconsin proud because it looks like the best slice of Swiss cheese you've ever seen? You know what I mean? Or are they going to fix that line? And then are they going to become more than a one-dimensional team? Like, what's that receiving core going to look like? And then you get the defensive side, like how much more of Max Crosby are they going to waste?
Well, I mean, I like first overall pick because it means we don't have to use a whole bunch of picks to trade up. And so we have the rest of our draft picks to try to address some of those issues. The Raiders have over $100 million in cap space this offseason. I expect them to be aggressive with offensive linemen in free agency. And I don't think that the Raiders need a whole new offensive line. Like, Colton Miller he's like 32, but he can play. I think Dylan Parham, the guard, needs to go. We need a guard. Jackson Powers Johnson can fill in the other guard. We might need a tackle, right tackle, because DJ Glaze, he had a decent rookie season, but this season was terrible. So that would be something I would look probably to address in free agency. And our receiving room, like it's very young. You know, like Trey Tucker is probably our oldest or our most tenured receiver, and he's barely ending his rookie contract right now. So, I would
And the
like to see us get a true number one, but
and the AFC
that's
West in general, Joe, your division. I mean, think about it. The defending AFC champion doesn't make the playoffs this year. I don't think they're making it next year because Mahomes will be out for a significant portion. You have the rise of Denver. The Chargers have risen quite a bit this year. I mean, your division's been pretty shocking this year in total.
Yeah, but I don't think that they're miles ahead where, you know, if the Raiders address certain issues that they couldn't be competitive in the division. I think Denver's record is a bit inflated. Their defense is phenomenal, but I'm not really sold on Bo Nix. I think to judge Genty after this season, I think is unfair because he's been hit behind the line of scrimmage more than any running back in the league. You know, so he's starting his carries already breaking tackles. Like before he even gets past the line of scrimmage, he's having to break tackles just to get to the line of scrimmage. He's shown me some ability both in the running game and in the passing game. Like I think if they address the offensive line, the Raiders have a good offensive core with him and Bowers and Michael Mayer that they could use, but they definitely need to address the receiver. Like even if you use a second rounder on a receiver, like if you could get a guy like Luther Burden in there, like it would still help the receiver room overall.
Funny you mentioned Luther Burden because he's one of the more underpraised offensive rookies this year. Have you seen the stats on his efficiency?
I heard about it.
Yeah, most efficient wide receiver in football right now, and you're like, really, the Rook?
Yeah.
That surprised me when I heard that about Burden. You know, and speaking of good rookies, you got another good rookie running back in that division who'll be back, could be back by the playoffs. Omari Hampton, because he started the year off, and we were like, yeah, this guy's legit. And then he got hurt. He might be back for the playoffs for the Chargers. I mean,
I think he's already back.
Omari Hampton coming back for the Chargers is a big deal.
I think he's already back.
Yeah, no, he did. He played, I think, the last game, and I'm not sure if he played the week before that, but yeah. Yeah, he's back. And you know I loved him going into the draft, Ken.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the dude's got what it takes to be a stud. I really do. So we'll see if he could stay healthy and how it works out for him. But yeah, man, it's such a wide open season, man. And I know a lot of times people say that like a lot of years, but I mean, this year it's really tough to like pin down who even like the top two teams are in each conference. I mean, you ask 10 different people, you might get like at least 8 different answers. Like, I don't know. It's tough, man.
Well, I mean, before the season, the AFC, everyone was like, oh, Bills, Ravens in the AFC Championship was the consensus, right? Now, it could still happen if the Ravens get in. You know, that's just it. The Ravens have to win Sunday to get in even. Buffalo. Look beatable this year at a lot of times. I think for them, if they go to Gillette, that's actually a good playoff matchup for them. You know, and we're going to get a situation in the playoffs theoretically where the two number 2 seeds are going to be playing division rivals in week 1 of the playoffs. You know, we may get a Buffalo at New England game and a Green Bay at Chicago game in week 1 of the playoffs. Who saw that coming this year? And you're right, there's, you know, like we thought Tampa would walk away with the South. And no one had Carolina being anywhere near it. They thought, oh, it'll be Atlanta and Tampa. Well, here's Carolina sitting in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I think that is the worst division in football because I mean, I watch these Panthers games every week. They're they are not a good team. Give them credit though; they're sticking with it. You know, they've been handed the division a couple weeks on a platter and haven't taken it, but that's the way that division's going this year. You know, Tampa ravaged with injuries. But yeah, they have a lot of older players too. So you know, who knows how they're going to bounce back next season. You know, I did want to kind of comment on Joe's Raiders a little bit. So I think one of the biggest surprise for me about the Raiders is like what Joe mentioned, just how Geno Smith just like completely fell off. Like you know, you can't really just blame one guy, but damn, he's a big reason why. Like I can't believe how bad he looked this year. So my advice for the Raiders is, if you don't like a quarterback in this draft, if you have the first or second pick overall, don't force yourself. Don't feel forced to draft a quarterback there. And even if you don't trade down, don't feel forced to draft a quarterback there. You know, build your trenches. Build, you know, get that center that you need, get that bookend tackle that you need, you know, on the defensive side, get the defensive tackles you need. Make sure you're strong up the middle on defense. Like, make sure you have that stud middle linebacker. Make sure you have a safety who can come down and cover and hit. You know, and kind of focus on the basics, because I don't really think that the Raiders have that yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, but who's to say that they don't take the NFC North playbook, draft their quarterback, and sign and trade away for an offensive line like the Bears did? They could get a quarterback and a new offensive line all this year.
Mhm.
They got Jeremy Chin, who's a great defensive player that not many people read about, but he's good, really good. They got some defensive players. What if they go out, they draft their quarterback number one, go out and get them, buy them an offensive line, so to speak. They got the capital to do that. And then they can add a receiver and add some more defensive pieces. I mean, the playbook's wide open for the Raiders. They've got 18 different ways to Sunday that they can get there, and I think they might be fine going either way. It's just,
and I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I would just feel really like they didn't do enough, no matter what they did, if they're still trotting out there with Geno Smith next year. Like, to me, they have to do something about that. Get another bridge quarterback or something. You know, like I said, I'm not saying necessarily draft a quarterback with the first or second overall pick, but you know, hey, maybe you sign just another veteran guy who actually plays better. Yeah, and just like, you need some D tackles, you need another D end, you need a couple pieces on the O line. You know, between free agency, the draft. You know, get that middle linebacker also. Jeremy Chin, yeah, I'm not. To me, I'm not really that high on him, but you know, get a lockdown cornerback. You know what I mean? Just start building some. You know what I mean? You got to build the team the right way. Start with the trenches, address quarterback, and see where you go from there, man.
Well, I'll say this: with the number one pick, if the Raiders are not sold on any of the quarterbacks, the only move is to trade down and pick up capital, because there will be somebody who wants Fernando Mendoza, and
For sure.
so I would definitely consider that. Even as bad as I want to get a quarterback, I would consider trading down, just because you can fill out so much more of your roster with those extra picks. Like, you have a chance to really get some ballers in there. But I like Mendoza, but I actually think, just my opinion, I actually think Dante Moore might end up being the better player. Like, I think Fernando Mendoza has a higher floor, but Dante Moore has a higher ceiling. So, we don't know if Dante Moore is going to declare, but I would actually consider taking Dante Moore at one.
I love.
And Joe, to put it in perspective, for me, like, I look at it like this: like, Tyler Shuck and Will Howard are both better prospects than Mendoza or Dante Moore. Shuck went in the second round. Will Howard went in the fifth last year. So, you know, that's like something I need to kind of say, just from how they project, from a talent and how they project to the NFL thing. I would take Shuck and Howard over either one of those guys in a heartbeat. So yeah, I just don't want to see the Raiders fall into the we're forced to draft a quarterback trap kind of thing this year.
Hey, trade it out to the Jets. They got a bunch of first rounders they can give you.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think, I mean, Dante Moore, the knock on him is he doesn't have a lot of starting experience, but I see a lot of good on his tape, man. Like, you know, he does a lot of things well. I don't know if I agree with the Will Howard comp, but like Suge, I like Suge coming out, so I don't have a problem, you know, like.
We're going to have some interesting conversations about the draft and all that, obviously coming up, especially when the Super Bowl draws near. And we start looking at tape and Sky reports and the combine. But hey, you know, before that, guys, before we rebuild the Raiders, we still have football to play this year. We got a bunch of good games coming up this weekend, 3 of which are going to decide division championships or number 1 seeds. We got the playoffs coming. You know, who knows what other guys are going to get, you know, we got free agency, which is obviously going to affect the draft. You know, like yesterday we had Diggs get cut. Kind of a surprise. Say what you will about Diggs, the player, but there'll be some other guys who get cut. That happens every year. That's going to change this landscape. And right now we've got an AFC where we're going to have a new AFC championship for first champion for the first time in a long time. The NFC is looking pretty good in the playoffs, like a good slate of teams this year. It's about to get interesting. And there are about to be some conversations about some quarterbacks, I think, that certain fan bases aren't going to like Caleb Williams being a legit quarterback in this league. And, you know, there's a lot of fans, especially in this division, who don't like that. You know, there are some other quarterbacks who are starting to show that, okay, they're going to be good with their teams long term. And, you know, there's some fans who aren't going to like that. You know, Bo Nix was mentioned earlier. You know, I'm not sure if I'm sold on Bo Nix either, but I mean, he definitely benefits from Patrick Surtain and that defense. But dude, he's getting it done. Drake May, what has he got, like the best completion percentage in the league right now, or damn near close to it? This draft class 2 years ago is looking, oh my God. I mean, I look at Baker and I was not Baker. I look at Caleb and I was talking to some Bills fans yesterday. There's a lot of similarities between Caleb and Josh Allen. A lot.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb continues to improve, for sure. You know, Bo Nix has his moments where he does look very good. Drake May, I mean, in my opinion, Drake May, you have an argument. He's a top 3 MVP candidate. Do I think he'll necessarily win it? You know, no, they'll probably give it to Stafford or Josh Allen. But, you know, who truly is the most valuable player on their team? Because, you know, the Patriots schedule is garbage. Like, it is like one of the weakest schedules. I mean, there's no denying that. But who's Drake May throwing to all year? Like, really a bunch of nobodies. You know what I mean?
The ghost of Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
but he does have Trevion Henderson, who's had a phenomenal rookie season.
I mean, that's it. You know, a smallish, a rookie running back is like his best weapon, in my opinion. So he's done a lot with a little.
I agree.
You know,
I think Drake May I think Drake May probably deserves the MVP.
It's insane. If you want to go by a true definition, in my opinion, of what an MVP should be, I would have to agree with that. You know, I'm not saying he definitely will win it, but I like your take on that, Joe.
Yeah, I think it's undeniable. Like he's Drake May has panned out. We didn't have to wait till year 3. Like he's panned out, dude. Like the Patriots quarterback situation is sorted.
I still think you have to wait to year 3, but I think he's more in that safe category. Like, yeah, he's probably going to work out. I mean, because he could totally. This could be a flash in the pan year. I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's like it's hard after 1 or 2 years to say okay, but you were starting to see it. I guess so. I agree with you to a large degree, but I still want to see year 3 for Caleb and Drake and those Bo. I still need to see year 3 before I'm.
And I'll tell you what, too. I would be lying to you if I told you JJ McCarthy, I don't think he has talent. The kid definitely has talent. Like, I'm not going to deny that. Now, whether he has the heart or wherewithal or whatever you want to call it to stay on the field. We'll see. But in my opinion, the kid is talented.
I mean, that whole draft class this year, for the most part, that entire draft class has played pretty well.
Absolutely.
Well, when they're not
Penix
injured.
getting hurt didn't help, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see Penix stay healthy and get more experience, because I really liked Penix. I think he has a chance to be a good quarterback.
Yeah, the whole Atlanta situation is so weird. Like,
It is.
that whole division, though, like they you look at that roster, you're like, yeah, they should be in the thick of it, and they're not. And then they go and they beat the Rams on Monday Night Football. And you're like,
Yeah.
you're just like, what the hell,
Yeah.
Atlanta? I don't know.
No, I hear you. My opinion with them is like you've been saying all year, Ken, coaching really matters, and that's what they're really lacking. Both sides of the ball for them.
I really think Rich Eisen nailed it. Was it yesterday, day before yesterday on the show? And they were talking about the post game of the Bears Niners. And they showed Ben Johnson and they asked him about the last play. And he said, well, I got to play in late. I got to work on that. That was my bad. I set us up to fail, basically. He took ownership of that last play not scoring. Caleb comes up a few minutes later, his press conference. You know what they're going to ask him, the exact same thing. He throws himself under the bus. Well, I should have gotten more on that last throw. I think we got to the line not the way we wanted. And, he kind of said, then I just tried to make something happen because we screwed up the play. And, and I need to get better on that throw and not dirt it. And I haven't watched the tape yet, but I should have done this, that. He took ownership. Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams together are going to be very problematic for this league for a long while, as long as they're together. And that problem really starts in force in 2 weeks. I think come playoff.
I agree.
Time, these guys, this is going to be, I don't want to call this Brady Belichick. It's way too early for that. But this is going to be a combo that's going to create a lot of problems in the NFL. And I just love the maturation of this quarterback with this head coach.
And one of the things I was most fearful about Caleb when he was drafted is his attitude. And he's really, especially this season, done nothing but display like a professional attitude. Like he really is. That to me is not a concern of mine with him anymore at all. How he handles himself in front of the media, how he handles himself in front of the team, on the field, all that stuff. I'm impressed.
And he's got that Josh Allen grit about him too. Like the only thing he doesn't do that Josh Allen does is lower the shoulder pads. That's why I compare him a lot to Josh Allen. And when talking to Bills fans yesterday, like they see a lot of the same maturation in Caleb as they saw in Josh and how Josh progressed. And a lot of the same abilities. I think he could be a year or two away from an MVP type season. Did he have it this year? No. Pretty close at times, though. I mean, 7 times or 6 times, 7, 8 times actually, he put us in position to win on a last drive. 2 of those games, ended on the last play where it didn't go his way. But 6 other times he got it. He's going to be something. The Packers, man, Vinny, I got to throw a little love to Vinny's guys. We only got a minute before JB starts his 1999th episode. I haven't kept track of mine. The Packers, man, they've had a season 2, the whole Micah Parsons thing. Who saw that coming? Even with Micah being out last week, being what it was, that first game out against the Bears, they played really well. They're going to be, look at that. We're going to talk about this game after this week, obviously. For the Packers in the playoffs, man, they're going to be a little something to deal with too. So with that, everyone have a very safe New Year's tonight. Watch out all those roads. All the drunk drivers going to be out. Want to see you all back here tomorrow. Joe Broski, it's been great doing this with you all this calendar year. Let's do another year, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year's, everyone. We're going to take tomorrow morning off because probably everyone will be sleeping. So we will see you Friday morning as we preview Week 18. I can't believe it's already here, but we're out of time, and JV's clicking the live button. We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.